SPD, AZD, TSM, Zoo, LOC. My grandmother used to tell me stories about the old days, a time of peace when the UNL commissioner kept balance between Space Ducks, Azure Dragons, Team Solent Mid, Christian Zoo, and loose cannons. But that all changed when the Nasus nation attacked. Only the avatar Bedamu mastered all four counterpicks. Only he could stop the ruthless cringe pickers. But when the world needed him most, he vanished. 100 laning phases have passed, and the Nasus nation is nearing victory in the war. 2 months ago in the preseason, my father and the men of my tribe journeyed to the Lane Kingdom to help fight against the Nasus nation, leaving me and my brother to look after our wave state. Some people believe that the Bedamu was never reborn into UNL free agency, and that the cycle is broken. But I haven't lost hope. I still believe that somehow Bedamu will return to save the world. Welcome to UNL Recall, Episode 2 of Season 4. I'm your host, Abyss, and I got inspired by a certain show. I modified the monologue a little bit to serve our purpose. But yeah, now we can move on to the meat and potatoes of the show. Yeah, let's start with what happened in week 2. And well, it was certainly a different week from week 1. Let's start with that. This was the schedule. First, we started off with Ruined Kings versus Invulnerables, which was certainly a game of League of Legends. I have to say, it was a game, and no one can really deny that it was a game. It was a game. I mean, as to what kind of game, no one really knows. I mean, both teams have played, but I don't even know if any player from either team can actually tell you what happened or what their thought process was during the game. All we really know is that Invul did prevail in the end. And we also managed to record the match so that we actually we actually recorded for history's sake. We know what kind of calamities occurred inside of that game. We have one clip to show you here. Actually, we have two. We do have two clips. Wait, am I talking about the right game? Oh well. We do have one clip, one important clip, and that's the second Invul pentakill. So let's give that a look.
Sada. And they're just gonna...
Going through, Swain all early. Garen flank. Azir's just gonna block them off, and Volleybet's the only one going in. Judgy Rocks is just untouched on the back. As it's a trade 1-for-1, but Swain is marching forward. Swain ults, and he actually doesn't do much damage. And now he has to flash out.
Oh,
the huge. Oh, there's the rail. And Judgy Rocks is still alive. He's quadra kill, pentakill. Give it to him. Penta! And we actually don't get it stolen by a Daisy. Thank God.
Yep, if not for that Daisy steal, we would have had 3 pentakills in 2 weeks of UNL. That would have been quite the feat. Let me see. Quite convinced that we actually had 2 clips from this game. Yes, we do have another clip. Let's watch that one. Let me skip. Right. That's not the one. This is the one. I mean, I can't really explain to you what exactly happened. You just have to watch this to believe.
Now looking bot again, there's double control wards. Rel's flanking. Jarvan's flanking Rel. Rel's flanking. She hits the double.
The Rel didn't have an E on anyone. Oh,
and the stun. Feb's getting dragged back, and he's still alive. He's just gonna kite them out. Obviously, he should be dead, maybe. As Jarvan stops it, the Judgy Rocks is gonna die on the backside of the fight. And the fight's still going. And Vince is here. Vince Wall, he was silenced at the same time.
Oh.
These fights aren't okay. Rel's just gonna flash over. Rel taking negative.
She didn't put E down after Kaiser died. So she
what is this Thunderdome happening? Is this Luke Caruana just going?
Skarner lives.
Jarvan, Volleybest just killed Garen in the top lane. Swain's finally
finds his button eventually.
Okay, I think we've seen enough. What a game that was, and at the end, Invul won and improved their record. They went 3-0 after that Saturday match. Next up, Gourmet Gang versus Wings Club. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure one of these teams would rather forget what happened inside of the game. Wings Club absolutely dismantled the bot lane. The bot lane was just an absolute cataclysm. Scorched earth. Nothing nothing remained after what Arins did along with Kip Carry. The CS lead was gargantuan. And Winx, I mean, once Arins got fed with Lulu supporting him the entire time, there was no stopping him. They just cruised to victory. There was nothing that Gourmet Gang could do in that situation. Arins even tanked an Ahri charm straight to the face. He just Gale Forced into it, and then he still survived without even Lulu shielding him. So that happened. Wings Club also moved on to 2-1, I believe, after that game. Ghostboard Gang, Ghostboard Gods. I'm mixing up the two names. Ghostboard Gods versus Hex. Ghostboard Gods picked Malphite mid lane. And I think Hex took that as a challenge and decided that, you know what? Let's just give Fanxi as much room to wreak havoc as possible. The Aurelia mid lane, then the Trundle to assist 2v2 in the ganks. Then you have the Seraphine in the bot lane, providing shields and the heals. Cho'Gath with additional CC. There was so much. Was it Cho'Gath? Yes, it was Cho'Gath. So much going on. And Fanxi absolutely popped off inside of that game. There was no stopping him. AP Malphite could not do much. Even Gardevoir on the Swain had, he had pretty good performance, all things considered, but yeah, you can't really stop an Aurelia, which has like 5 kills, 15 minutes. It's just not happening. So X got their first win with that win against Ghostboard Gods. And the last match for Saturday, the Invictus took on Off-Roll Aquarium in what was a pretty close affair for 20 to 25 minutes, I gotta say. It was a pretty close game, but then the faults in the Invictus team comp started to show. The Nasus, yeah, we'll get to that later. The Nasus, drafted by Off-Roll Aquarium, turned out to be a real pain in the neck for the Invictus. He was not punished hard enough in the early game. He was not tower dove when the opportunity arose for that. And then also, the rest of the comp was very much self-sufficient. The Anivia plus a Misfortune provided so much zone control against the Xayah and the Echo. They had a really hard time trying to get to the important targets. Off-Roll Aquarium eventually outscaled and won the game. That was their first win of the season. And we move on to Sunday. Wings versus Ruined Kings. This was another chaotic game, but Ruined Kings came into this with a bit of an interesting draft. We had Jungle Elise paired up with a Lucian mid, but I guess that's just what Vince, or aka Hans, prefers to play in the mid lane. So we had Lucian paired with the Elise. The lane went well for the Lucian, obviously, especially when you play against Vianney, but then yeah, we encountered some problems. The Lucian did not take cleanse, played really greedily inside of the lane, and he got punished for it quite hard. And also the Draven from Marins in that bot lane. was quite powerful. Wings Club once again showing that they have one of the strongest bot lanes in the league. They have many strong points when it comes to their team, and they're shaping up to be one of the contenders. Honestly, they moved on to 3-1. They're now tied for first. We'll get to have a look at the standings later. Hex versus Gourmet Gang. Yeah, this was Gourmet Gang's first real chance at actually getting a game. Gourmet Gang actually got a very substantial lead. In the first 20 minutes of the game, I do believe it was like a 4 to 4.5k gold lead for Gourmet Gang. It was looking good all around. The bot lane was ahead, actually. Pass Me the Bamboo finally getting the performance that he wanted. Also, the jungler, Matthias, getting the ganks off consistently in the mid lane on the Hecarim, preventing the Yone from snowballing. But yeah, then one bad fight that they took after the bot lane tower got taken down, it just made sure that their gold lead kind of disappeared, and Hex was allowed back into that game. And after that, yeah, just mostly misplays in the team fights allowed Hex to claw back and secure a 2-1 finish. We have Invul versus Awful Aquarium. At that point, Invul was the only team without a loss, and they were going up against Awful Aquarium, who were quite eager to take them down for the first time. And that they did, actually. They got the Yasuo for Christian Simeone, which is one of his signature picks. He absolutely smashed it in the lane. It was about like a 60 or 70 CS lead at one point. Superb wave management from Christian. And then the team played around him. They consistently got leads all over the map. It got a little bit hairy near the end of the game. It had almost looked like Invul had an opportunity to mount a comeback and potentially secure a 4-0. But at the end of the day, Awful Aquarium just were too far ahead at that point. The Yasuo was at 4 items very early, and he just basically dragged the team across the finish line alone, almost. And finally, to top it all off, wait, I hope I didn't forget about any kind of clip. Oh, I actually have one clip to show you that I forgot about. I knew I forgot about something. I have one clip from Wings Club versus Ruined Kings. That's the Flash Cocoon from Luke Caruana.
He flushed out of range, and if without the flash that was going to connect, Arin's continuing to walk forward. The shielding on this Lulu's Flash Cocoon from Luke Caruana is going to connect. Tibber's going to come down, but it's going to be too little too late, and the Ruined Kings answer back in the mid lane. Vince.
Luke Caruana first pick in the NBA draft for his downtown 3-pointers.
Luke Caruana? Wait. Oh no, I didn't show it. Show that on stream. I'm so sorry. Okay, we have to watch it again. Oh my god. This is my fault.
Range, and if without the flash that was going to connect, Arin's continuing to walk forward. The shielding on this Lulu's Flash Cocoon from Luke Caruana is going to connect. Tibber's going to come down, but it's going to be too little too late, and the Ruined Kings answer back in the mid lane. Vince.
Luke Caruana first pick in the NBA draft for his downtown 3-pointers.
Yeah, that was. Wait. No, Alright. So sorry. I'm really out of it right now. Let's look at this again.
And the Ruined Kings answer back in the mid lane. Vince.
Luke Caruana first pick in the NBA draft for his downtown 3-pointers.
Okay, now we can finally move on. Yikes. Hive Mind versus Ghostboard Gods closed out the weekend. And, well, Hive Mind were the favorites coming into this one. Ghostboard Gods were once again the underdogs, especially in the casino. Only 36% of the voters decided to stand by Ghostboard Gods, and their faith was actually rewarded this time around. They showed up huge in the team fights. There were some early game questionable moments, like the Seraphine purchasing the support item alongside the actual support. The switch only happened at about 10-12 minutes, so that was a little bit of a blunder there, but regardless, Ghostboard Gods played the team fights exceptionally well, showed up big on the day, and we actually have a clip from this game where Ghostboard Gods get a clean ace on Hive Mind and secure the Baron afterwards. That was a pivotal point inside of that game.
Now looking bot again.
Relic Exhaust, Ivan Flash missing for Hive Mind. Then you
Oh, the
have
Iron
Lily.
what is he missing?
Why did he go
Oh,
forward?
the Rel W finds the Yasuo. Oh, this is huge. The Yasuo ulti goes on the Vayne flashes out.
Massive.
Oh my god. Insane shockwave. Vayne's done. Vayne's asleep.
the
She's sleeping. Night. Oh my god, the Hecarim. This too huge, dude. My brain. This team fight was mad, dude.
The team fight was mad indeed, and after that, Ghostboard Gods secured the Baron and eventually the win. Now let's look at the standings. Invul still sit at 3-1 after week 2, although Wings Club are hot on the trail, and they're looking to take that first spot in the next week. Then we have Hex and Off-Roll Aquarium both bouncing back from their week 1 start from 0-1 to 2-1. Very nice. And then Ghostboard Gods stabilizing at 2-2. And then the rest of the pack, Gourmet Gang, unfortunately at 0-4, still no win to their name. Hopefully that changes in the coming weeks. I wouldn't like to see any team finish winless in our league. That would be kind of a sad sight. Let's hope that Gourmet Gang can pick it up and secure some W's on the board. Now let's look at the week 3 schedule. Now this one's interesting. I feel like we have so many highlight matches. Ruin Kings taking on Hex in the opener. That's bound to be good. These teams have... There's a bit of a history between those teams, and they also scrim a lot between each other, so maybe some secret picks are prepared for this one. Then we have Off-Roll Aquarium versus Wings Club. That's a match between the 2-1 team and the 3-1 team, both of them looking particularly strong into week 3. Then on Sunday, we have Off-Roll taking on Hex, and Hive Mind taking on Ruin Kings. So more of these established teams facing each other in week 3. I feel like this week could potentially be one of the more exciting weeks, but it's going to be hard to top week 1 after what we've seen last week. Obviously, that was a crazy week, one that we might not repeat this season. I hope we will. That would be cool, but it's obviously the bar is set up very high. Well, now you're wondering why this stream title is named UNL Recall Season 4 Episode 2 Week 2 plus Dog Champ. Well, let's talk about the elephant in the room, or should I say the German Shepherd in the room. This guy has been a little bit of a pain in the neck for many teams as we near week 3. Quite a presence inside of UNL, and you have to wonder what went wrong. How do we end up here? Why is Nasus 3-0 with a 100% win rate after 2 weeks? Well, I guess first we gotta analyze strengths and weaknesses of this champion. Let's talk about Nasus. Nasus obviously has his Siphoning Strike, which is an ability that potentially scales infinitely into the game. You can just stack your Q forever. It just keeps getting stronger. That's like one of the main attractive points of a champion to some. Then you have one of the strongest base abilities in the game in a 1v1 scenario, especially if it's at higher ranks. For Wyver, both the movement speed slow and an attack speed slow, very, very powerful, very underrated. And then you have his scariest point, which is the mid game. The map opens up, he gets to be in a side lane more, he gets to pick up the farm, and he gets to scale into a bit of a menace, gotta say. And it can get to a point where sometimes he doesn't kill them, but he definitely ignores many champions in a side lane, especially if a pick is AD oriented. And obviously, because his Q works on towers and he can stack it and make it stronger and stronger as the game goes on, he's a very scary split pusher. Q works on turrets. It also Nasus builds Sheen items quite regularly, no matter the season. So if you just leave Nasus in a side lane unopposed, then yeah, you got a storm brewing. So how do you stop this guy? How do you stop Nasus from taking over your game? Well, gotta start with the early game. Nasus has limited range, no hard CC to speak of, and no mobility spells, which means that if his Waven is in a bad spot, he doesn't really have a lot to say about it. He's actually quite easy to freeze against. So that can create advantageous wave states for your jungler to come in and gank him and score some easy kills. But even then, you can also dive him. Obviously, you don't want to go for a one-for-one situation, but if you're both full HP, I feel like with the right top jungle combo, a tower dive in a 2v1 situation should be easily secured. Also, his team fighting, not that strong compared to his split pushing unless he is obscenely ahead. That doesn't happen very often, right? When he's team fighting, you are more prepared for the situation. Like all of his weaknesses that we've mentioned before, limited range, no hard CC, no mobility, means that he is susceptible to kiting. So it's a lot easier to deal with Nasus in a 5v5 situation, especially in the late game, which is why I feel like mid game is his stronger point compared to his late game. So Nasus wants to be put in the side lane most of the time. Because of that, he can sometimes put his team into situations where they'll have to fight in a situation that doesn't particularly suit them. So it's on the other team to try to force in that situation and just don't let Nasus farm where you want to force objectives on the other side. Also, referring to that freeze part earlier, Nasus obviously not very risky to freeze against because it's not like he's going to roam to another lane if he doesn't have his TP. He doesn't really have tools to roam to mid, for example, or to bot if the situation is dire. So Nasus, basically the TLDR is you're on a clock. You have to be active against Nasus. Do not let him sit around and farm his crops. Don't do that. If you do that, you're going to have a bad time. But even if he gets strong, you can still overcome the champion with team comp difference. Obviously, you do need to have the tools to stop him, like the hard CC part. The range advantage is also welcome. Yeah, the Nasus does have clear weaknesses, but it's just up to the player or the team in general to stop him. But then at the end of the day, you have to consider the UNL context, right? Not every team plays around top. Actually, I would wager most teams don't play around top, which makes this pick even scarier. Nasus obviously, when there's not a lot of jungle attention from either side, he can scale a lot faster. So this creates problems, and the lower coordination between all of the UNL teams means Nasus has a lot more freedom to do his thing, which is why some people just prefer to ban it, especially against Nasus specialists like Yuri Undertones, who popularized the pick. Now we also saw that be, picked as well by Christian Simeone of Awful Aquarium against B Invictus. I think that was a pick that the other team did not expect. Right, that was Nasus. Hopefully we don't see him as much. That's just my opinion, though. Not a big fan of the champion. Bit boring to watch, honestly. And also, feels inevitable to play against this guy when he's actually fed. But who knows? Maybe some teams figure out a strategy to fight against him, or he just continues to get banned against certain teams. All right, that was the Nasus segment. Had to get that out of my chest. And now we can move on to the most important part. Which is, as you probably know, best of week 2. The part everyone is waiting for every week. Always the same. When's best of week 1? When's best of week 2? When's best of week 3? Dabus, stop talking. Just show the pictures. You're boring. Well, here you go. Without further ado, let's start with Team of the Week. And, well, there's... one team has certainly dominated this Team of the Week if you look at the picture closely. We have 3 people from Hex. Imari, Banksy, the jungle mid duo, and BDNG secures the last spot for support after a runoff. We had to do a additional vote for support because 2 people were tied at the end of the day. We had to break the tie somehow, and BDNG secured the win against Kip Carry. I think it was about 15 votes to 7, if I remember correctly. I think we had 22 votes in total, but I may be wrong on that. Iran secures ADC Team of the Week for the 2nd time in a row, and I do believe it's not going to be the last time we see this guy in Team of the Week. It's just going to keep happening. And then finally, Christian Simeone takes top lane in what was actually a very close battle. Now, I would also like to say that mid lane was also very close. I think it was even closer in top. Banksy only won against Paul Jr. of Awful Aquarium by just 1 vote. It was so close between all of these players. And it was also close in the MVP category. Well, that was a smooth transition. Let's see who the MVP was for week 2. See the picture. There we go. Da-da-da! See, Season 4, Week 2 MVP goes to not Banksy. Mari got 5 votes. And 5 votes was just enough to secure MVP because the competition was fierce this week. So many people got MVP votes. All across so many different teams. We had people from Awful Aquarium getting votes, people from Ghostboard Gods getting votes, other members of Hex also getting votes, Banksy namely. We had also certain people from Wings Club getting in. So it was a fierce fight for MVP. And at the end of the day, Imari managed to clutch it by just 1 vote difference. I do believe it was 5-4 when you look at the other players. But still, I think it was well-deserved. Like, if you look at the stats, the KDA, obscene for a jungler, the KP and the KP at 15 minutes, both over 90%. That is just ridiculous. And then the death percentage, or the death share, however you want to call it, 15% only. So not only was he participating in a lot of kills, he also wasn't really feeding all that much. Very much a vital point of the team in week 2. Mari gets the MVP for his team and for himself. And we hope to see more of those performances in the future. Very, very powerful indeed. And also, at the end, we also had a vote for Moment of the Week. We showed you those 4 clips earlier. We've had Blue Caravana, Flash Cocoon. We had the absolute fiesta down in the bot lane. We had the clean ace of Ghostboard Gods versus Hive Mind. And finally, we had the Judgy Rocks Pentakill versus Ruined Kings. So, who got it in the end? Who got Moment of the Week? Or rather, which clip got it? Well, this was another close race. And at the end of the day, the clean ace from Ghostboard Gods got 12 votes against the 11 votes of the Pentakill from Judgy Rocks. So again, so close across so many categories this week. It was certainly a one-of-a-kind vote. I would say really, really close. Top lane, mid lane, the MVP race, and also Moment of the Week, basically coming down to 1 vote. How ridiculous is that? Well, now to close off the show, we can watch the Moment of the Week winner once more.
Rel Exhaust, Ivan Flash missing for Hive Mind. Then you
Oh,
have
the Iron
Lily.
again. What is he doing? Is he?
Why did he go
Oh,
forward?
the Rel W finds the Yasuo. Oh, this is huge. The Yasuo ulti goes on the Vayne flashes out.
Massive.
Oh my god. Insane shockwave. Vayne's done. Vayne's asleep.
the
He's sleeping. Night. Oh my god, the Hecarim. This too huge, dude. My brain. This team fight was mad, dude.
Rel Exhaust, Ivan.
And there it is. Moment of the Week. I would say that was definitely the moment that made me gasp personally. Out of all 4 of these, I feel like that clean ace was quite surprising how well Ghostboard Gods managed to play that one, and how there were no casualties at the end of the day. I feel like that was quite surprising. Alright, we finally covered everything. This has been it for UNL Recall Episode 2. Thank you so much for watching. Obviously, this is a weekly show. We'll be back next week with another recap of Week 3 once the action concludes there. Possibly another fun segment that we can talk about. Maybe we'll have a guest. Who knows? I don't know. I guess we'll find out. But for now, that was it from me. Thank you all once more for watching. We'll be back next week. Bye.